Coming in at 10, Sam Pepper. Oh, Sam Pepper, what hasn't this former YouTuber done? Over the years, the internet star has had a slew of controversies attached to his name. In 2014, Sam posted a video prank of him unsuspectingly pinching the butts of women. This of course led to fans lashing out at the star, claiming that the video promoted. Following the video, a lot of complaints were getting lodged against Pepper, who was then targeted by his fans. The star was ultimately forced to leave YouTube for a while and even cancelled major events including Playlist Live. To make matters worse, he then made another video where he pranked one of his friends by making him believe his best friend had died. Yeah, there's no coming back from that. There's no coming back from death. Coming in at 9, JonTron. As most who are on the internet will know, sometimes it's best to stay in your lane and not dabble in politics because you will upset people in the process. I should know, because I have upset people on the internet. YouTube star JonTron found this out the hard way in 2017 when he decided to show his support for Steve King, a US representative from Iowa. King was incredibly controversial, having tweeted support for far-right Dutch politician Geert Wilders. I quote, "Wilders understands that culture and demographics are our destiny. We can't restore our civilization with somebody else's babies." The YouTuber went on to stress his beliefs in a live stream, revealing what Polygon described as, I quote, "wide-ranging right-wing sympathies that appear to have blindsided many of his viewers, some of whom have withdrawn their YouTube subscriptions." The YouTuber lost around 10,000 subs in the aftermath, with his career unlikely to recover from the incident. Coming in at 8, Anthony Fantano. At one point in time, Anthony Fantano was one of YouTube's platform pioneers as far as YouTube music critics go. His YouTube channel The Needle Drop was massively successful. However, one decision ultimately led to his fall from grace. Fantano launched a spin-off channel named That Is The Plan, a place for him to upload his own covers of songs and discuss things outside of music. Although his second channel wasn't particularly well known, it did make headlines back in 2017 when The Fader published an article that accused him of expressing dangerous views on it. I quote, "His vocabulary took on a screechy 4chan-friendly slant. He raged against social justice warriors and feminists, and in video after video treated black musicians as a punchline." In the wake of the article, several venues abruptly cancelled a series of live shows that Fantano planned, resulting in the YouTuber deleting his channel and losing around 400,000 subs. Coming in at 7, Toby Turner. Remember Toby Turner? He had around 15 million subscribers and was incredibly funny. However, like the rest of our list, he had an epic fall from grace. Back in 2016, he was accused by ex-girlfriend April Fletcher on charges of and mental abuse. He of course denied the claims, describing them as a sham. However, April then posted details of the sexual abuse by Toby on Tumblr, which led to fans distancing themselves from the star. Following the incident, he attempted to get back onto YouTube, however at that point all of his fans were gone. Coming in at 6, Laura Lee. Now as most will know, going up against Jeffree Star is a killer to your career. It won't end well, and that is exactly what happened with Laura Lee. Some of Jeffree's fans unearthed some offensive tweets from Lee's past in which she insulted both African and Asian people with racial slurs. According to Cosmopolitan, one of the deleted tweets read, I quote, "Tip for all black people, if you pull your pants up you can run from the police faster." Yikes. Her tweet was enough to get the YouTuber cancelled, but she ended up making things 10 times worse for herself when she uploaded an apology video, which was widely mocked. Following the incident, the star lost a whopping 240,000 subs in a single week after she attempted to explain herself in a video which was completely disingenuous. There were even fake tears. It was iconic. Coming in at 5, Rawvana. Rawvana is a vegan vlogger who sells vegan diet plans on her personal website, the 21-Day Raw Challenge. In her prime, she had around 2.5 million subscribers across her English and Spanish channels. However, her empire came crashing down in 2019 when she was exposed as a fraud. So here's what went down. The YouTuber decided to order fish at a restaurant and was outed by a fellow influencer. The star was in Bali at the time, which she described as a plant-based paradise. However, that quickly backfired on her when another vlogger she was with began filming her in a restaurant. Paula Galindo turned the camera on Mendoza, who quickly tried to hide what she was eating, but it was too late. We all saw the fish on her plate. Fans were of course outraged, dubbing the YouTuber Fishvana, and just like that her reputation was ruined. Coming in at 4, Pro Jared. Pro Jared is a YouTube gamer who lost thousands of subscribers back in 2019 after his wife accused him of cheating. According to his wife, Pro Jared had an affair with fellow YouTube gamer Holly Conrad. I quote, "My husband has been Holly Conrad behind my back for months. I have proof. Explicit conversations and photographs of their relationship, which he extensively lied to me about on many occasions. He was promising me that he was committed to our relationship at the time and promising her he was breaking up with me. The moment Pro Jared's wife tweeted these remarks, the gamer lost over 100,000 subs in one day. Following the claims made by Pro Jared's wife, some fans came forward claiming the YouTuber had solicited nude photos from them, with the gamer admitting that he had exchanged photos with consenting adults on occasion, and apologized. I quote, "What I was doing was not predatory, but it was unhealthy." Coming in at 3, PewDiePie. PewDiePie has been a controversial figure throughout a lot of the YouTube career, while somehow still maintaining being the highest subbed YouTuber in history. He's one of the most popular accounts, with the Swedish-born vlogger doing let's plays and commentary videos on his page. However, things took a turn in 2017 when he was playing against an opponent in Battleground in a live stream and used the N-word. This led fans to attack the star in the comment section, with Pewds in turn losing thousands and thousands of subs. He immediately posted a public apology, blaming his actions on the heat of the moment. I mean, we've all been in the heat of the moment. I've never said that word. However, that doesn't forgive the time he also paid 2 men on Fiverr to hold up a sign that read, again, he apologized, but maybe just don't do it in the first place. Coming in at 2, Zoella. Zoe Sugg, best known as Zoella on YouTube, has been one of the top dogs for years, making her start back in 2009 around the same time as PewDiePie, and quickly rose to fame, garnering millions of subs on all of her channels. However, her name was dragged through the dirt after she made a terrible decision back in 2017. She released a branded advent calendar that cost £50 which is around $62. However, the gifts behind the doors weren't worthy of the hefty cost. The calendar included a packet of confetti and a star-shaped cookie cutter. Again, this calendar cost £50, which is ridiculous. Now, although her subscriber count has remained high, Zoella hasn't uploaded a video to her main channel in over a year, with a lot of longtime fans distancing themselves from the beauty guru. And finally coming in at number 1, James Charles. Makeup blogger James Charles lost a record number of subscribers back in 2019 after a very public feud with his friend and mentor Tati Westbrook. Westbrook cut ties with Charles before accusing him of attempting to manipulate straight men and selling her out for Coachella VIP passes, and then began the hashtag on Twitter, James Charles is cancelled, which ended up trending worldwide, with the YouTuber losing a whopping 2 million subscribers in 3 days. Charles stated, I quote, "I'm so disappointed in myself that I ruined a relationship that did mean so much to me, even if I didn't do the best job of showing it at the time. What sucks the most is that I know there is nothing I can say or do to ever earn that friendship or trust back." He then disappeared from social media for a while before returning and angering fans again when he uploaded himself singing along to a song and saying the N-word. Bad. So bad. Just leave and never come back.
Starting off this countdown at number 10 is Amber Heard. The actress was married to iconic actor Johnny Depp, but filed for divorce in May 2016 and showed up to the Los Angeles courthouse with a bruised face. She claimed that he threw a cell phone at her face and trashed their apartment, and a restraining order was placed on him. Since then, it has been this big ongoing lawsuit between the two of them. She claims he is a monster who abused her and threatened to kill her, and he says that she's making all of it up to ruin his career and get a hefty paycheck. He filed for a $50 million defamation lawsuit against her, revealing surveillance video that proves her face was not bruised after their alleged fight that day when she went to court. Realistically, we don't know the truth, only they do, but fans have turned against Amber now since the evidence has shown that she made that story up. The two of them will hash it out in court starting August 3rd, 2020. Sliding to number 9 is Columbus Short. The actor took on the role of Harrison in the hit TV series Scandal from 2012 to 2014. His career was at its ultimate high during his years on the show, but it was taken from him when he ended up in a domestic violence dispute with his wife. It resulted with him being fired immediately, and his character was killed off the show. His wife claimed that he hit her during an argument, and he was sentenced to 36 months probation, and he had to register for domestic violence education because he was already on probation for a bar fight that happened earlier that year. He was also sentenced to 1 year in jail, but left after serving just 34 days due to overcrowding. Despite the fact that he got out from behind bars, his career has just never been the same. Talk about some luck. The jail being overcrowded so you get out? Cool. Next up in our number 8 spot is Eddie Murphy, one of Hollywood's best comedic actors for many years, but he found himself in a scandal that was not so funny. Back in 1997, a news story broke that Eddie was being arrested for being involved with a prostitution scandal. On May 2nd, 1997, he was pulled over by police at 4:45 a.m. after they saw a transsexual prostitute get inside. However, he claimed that he thought the person was having trouble and simply offered them a ride. I don't know if I believe that. The scandal blew over and he continued to have a successful career, but in 2015 it all came back to haunt him. Turns out just 1 year after the car incident, the prostitute was dead in this mysterious circumstance, and they actually started pinning Eddie as a possible suspect all those years later. News broke that Eddie's lawyer Marty Singer paid her $50,000 at the time to change her story for the tabloids. They even had the check and records to prove it. Obviously, he was never connected to the murder, but his career has never fully recovered. I'm actually surprised that he's still booking all the roles that he has, if I'm being honest, because I don't know. That's pretty sketchy. Moving on to number 7, we have Dane Cook. His career initially started with his talent in stand-up comedy, but it also headed into the direction of acting. We have to admit that it was kind of weird seeing him in our movies all of a sudden. Unfortunately, his movies were all a flop, no offense, but it wasn't the bad reviews that destroyed his career, it was actually some inappropriate jokes. Back in 2012, during one of his stand-up shows, he made jokes referring to the mass shooting that took place in Colorado. He later apologized for his comments, but people did not really accept his apology. And on top of all of that, he caused a lot of controversy for his relationship with a girl who is 26 years younger than he is. He was 47 years old at the time they started dating in 2017, and she was just 19 years old. So what is he up to these days? In 2019, he launched his new stand-up tour called Tell It Like It Is, but it received a review that called it unusually awful. In spot number 6 is another actor and comedian. It is Jay Moore. Many people joke that they have to Google who he is, so let me save you the time. He is a stand-up comedian and known for his time on SNL and on TV series like Ghost Whisperer, Gary Unmarried, and Suburgatory. But both sides to his career took a hit in 2014 after he made some fat-shaming jokes against another female in the industry. The joke, if that's what you want to call it, was said when he was talking on his podcast and was talking about the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series Champions Awards, which he hosted. One of the presenters at the awards show was Alyssa Milano, and he decided to talk about her body, saying that she had a gut and forgot to wear Spanx. She responded with a tweet, "So sorry you felt the need to publicly fat shame me. Be well and God bless. Please send my love to your beautiful wife." Fans did not react as well as she did, and we haven't really seen much of him ever since. I don't mind. Who are you to comment about my gut and if I wore Spanx or not? Halfway through at number 5, we have Shannon Doherty. She was everywhere in the 90s, taking lead roles in Beverly Hills 90210 and Charmed. And then she reprised her role for the 90210 reboot in 2019, but got fired after getting into a physical altercation on set. The argument actually got her in trouble with the law. She got into a fight with her co-star Jenny Garth, and she received a misdemeanor battery citation. For obvious reasons, she was fired from the show immediately, and only 1 month after the incident, she was involved in another court case where she was accused of owing the bank around $36,000. So it appeared that her reckless behavior wasn't just limited to her time on the TV series. She did appear in one episode on Riverdale after that, but things have been pretty quiet for her. Stealing number 4 spot on our countdown list is Mel Gibson. He was once one of the biggest stars in Hollywood and took home some of the biggest salaries. But a history of issues with alcohol eventually caught up to him. Everything kind of happened over the last 2 decades, if we're being honest, because he's just been involved in so many different scandals over the years, like getting arrested for a DUI, and that aggressive rant that was recorded at the time and leaked online, showing that he was making sexist and offensive comments. And then, 4 years later, it happened again and another recording of him appeared online, which included racist and threatening remarks against his ex-wife. His talent agency immediately dropped him, and he hasn't been on the screen in a few years. He has turned to behind the camera work instead, like directing, but it's safe to say his reputation will always be destroyed, even if he can salvage like some sort of career. We've made it to number 3, and we have James Franco. A few events in the last decade had his very successful career come crashing down. It all began in 2014 when screenshots leaked online showing that he was talking to an underage girl who he knew was underage, trying to rent them a hotel room for the night. Somehow, his career managed to continue after the scandal faded out, but then everything was officially shut down in 2017 after he wore a Time's Up pin to the Golden Globes. Multiple women came forward making claims that his acting school sexually exploited them while they were students. In their suit, they said that he had his students perform explicit sex scenes on camera in exchange for promised roles in his future films. In 2018, he was accused of sexual misconduct by 5 different women and is now facing a lawsuit after being sued by his 2 students. Earning the second spot on our list is Kathy Griffin. The actress and comedian landed herself in a lot of trouble back in 2017 after posting an inappropriate picture online. She teamed up with famous photographer Tyler Shields to do a very controversial photo shoot of her holding a decapitated, bloody head of Donald Trump. Of course, it was just a mask, but the image was so real and graphic that sites actually had to blur it and block it from their sites. When she first posted it to Twitter and saw people's horrified reactions, she began to tweet out that she went too far and will remove the picture. But months later, she took her apology back and told the Rolling Stone, I quote, "I'm not sorry, I take the apology back 1000%. After that, she started to receive death threats and hate mail and was put on a no-fly list after undergoing 2 months of federal investigation. She later put out a TV movie called A President Show Documentary, The Fall of Donald Trump. So it looks like she just doesn't know when to call it quits. She is still going with that joke. Here we are, number 1, and we have Bill Cosby. At one time he was known for his impressive work as an actor, but now he's just known for being the actor who had more than 50 people accuse him of and misconduct. That has to be some kind of record, not one to brag about though. The allegations began back in 2014 when he was accused of that took place in the mid-1960s. Since then, he's been accused by different women for drug-facilitated sexual battery and sexual misconduct. All of the alleged incidents spanned from 1965 to 2008. He battled the allegation in court for years, but on September 25th, 2018, he was sentenced to 3 to 10 years in state prison and fined $25,000 plus the cost of prosecution, which was $43,611. To the dime. He is currently serving a sentence at a state prison near Philadelphia, and apparently he just gets treated like any other prisoner. In other words, that means that no one cares that he was once a Hollywood actor. Starting off our countdown list at number 10 is Taylor Lautner. At just 17 years old, he made his big debut in the Twilight movie series, and everyone was thinking he could be the next big star. He was a hot commodity at one point, being paid $7.5 million for his movie Northern Lights. But for some reason, his career started to just shift, and not in a good way. After the Twilight series came to an end, it just seemed like he wasn't able to keep a solid career outside of that franchise. He was cast to take the lead in the 2011 movie Abduction, but it was a total flop. And when I say flop, I mean flop. It received a whopping 5% on Rotten Tomatoes, and critics were not thrilled with his performance. Since 2012, he's had 6 credits to his name, and we haven't seen him in anything since 2018 when he worked on a TV series called Cuckoo. Whatever that is. So he didn't do anything intentionally to destroy his career, he just couldn't make it happen. It's a tough industry, man. Next up at number 9 is Meg Ryan. She was one of the leading ladies in the 90s, earning the title of the rom-com queen for more than 10 years. But a lot of negative drama came from the affair that she had during her marriage with Dennis Quaid. Back in 2000, she had an affair with her Proof of Life co-star Russell Crowe, and she faced a lot of ridicule for it. Some will say that that is what ended her career, but she herself says that her role in the movie In the Cut is what destroyed it. It was a racy erotic thriller with a hypersexual plotline, and she said that she was judged for it. But she has found other work since then. Her last role was actually in 2018. Nothing has ever put her back in the spotlight, so it's hard to say what exactly was the moment that destroyed her career. I just think it is like a combination of things over the last 2 decades. She's been through like a lot of controversy. Coming in number 8 is Nicolas Cage. The actor has had a very successful career, but in more recent years his career has gone through a huge shift to a point where most of his movies are released on demand rather than in theaters. He hasn't been in any like wild scandals either, he's just done some really bad movies. For example, he was torn apart for his brutal performance in The Wicker Man. It has actually been like an ongoing joke for years, and it received a 15% on Rotten Tomatoes. He spent the past several years doing low-budget films and some occasional voice work. It was recently announced in November 2019 that he might be taking on the role of himself, Nicolas Cage, in a new movie called The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent. Nothing is confirmed, but maybe he will be able to redeem himself by playing himself? I mean, like, how do you mess that up? But if anyone's gonna find a way to mess that up, it's gonna be Nicolas Cage. Taking over spot number 7 is Mama June. Now, I don't like to refer to her as an actor, but because her reality show was fake, she's technically given that title online. She is the mom of TLC's show Here Comes Honey Boo Boo. The show is a surprising amount of success, but her fame quickly ended after news broke in October 2014 that she was dating a 53-year-old registered sex offender who allegedly her own daughter, who actually came forward with those claims. TLC immediately canceled the entire show. She ended up moving on to another man named Gino Doick, and things got worse from there. They were arrested together in March 2019 at an Alabama gas station after police were called for a domestic disturbance. She was actually charged with felony possession of a controlled substance and drug paraphernalia and domestic violence / harassment. Swiping spot number 6 is Mike Myers. He produced 2 of the most iconic characters in comedy movies, Wayne Campbell from Wayne's World and Austin Powers. He also booked the role of Shrek, so he had a load of success in that franchise, but after he ventured out of his 3 hit franchises, things pretty much started to go downhill. He took on the movie The Love Guru in 2008, which he actually co-wrote and co-produced, but it completely bombed. So later in 2013, he turned to directing, which he actually had some success with. He has made his way back onto the screen, but only has a couple of credits in the last 4 years. And it was actually rumored that he might be coming back for an Austin Powers 4, however, nothing is confirmed. I personally feel like that could be the one thing that gives him a second chance. Or it'll completely ruin everything. Halfway through at number 5 is Renee Zellweger. It has been over 20 years since she had us at hello. For many years she solidified her spot as an A-list celebrity, and in the 2000s she was all over our big screen. But in the past decade she kinda disappeared from Hollywood without an explanation why. She ended up explaining her decision to leave the spotlight, saying that she suffered from imposter syndrome. That is a chronic self-doubt that overrides any feeling of success. And she was very successful. She made her first big return appearance in 2014 and got criticized for how different her face looked after her plastic surgery procedures, which she says was another reason why she continued her hiatus. But in 2019, she made her first big comeback, starring on the TV series What If and taking the lead in the movie Judy. It's hard to tell if this will be a big enough comeback for her after all the damage she did by leaving the industry all those years, but I did see the Judy trailer and it looks pretty good. I actually really want to see it. I had no idea that she could sing. Cruising into spot number 4 is Nick Cannon. He was on top of the world when he was married to Mariah Carey and hosting full-time on the hit TV series America's Got Talent. But his career has never been the same since 2017 when he announced that he was leaving the job after a disagreement with NBC about some jokes that he made regarding the network. NBC claims that some of his jokes were a breach of contract and so they fired him. Then Nick, like every other celebrity does when they get fired, went on a Facebook rant saying that it actually had nothing to do with the jokes and that it was, I quote, just another way to silence and control an outspoken voice who often battles the establishment. So it is pretty obvious that there's more to the story and we won't really know what actually went on behind the scenes. However, he lost one of the biggest successes in his career. In the third spot is Shia LeBoeuf. He returned to Hollywood in 2019, and although we don't know if he's back for good, we could never forget the whole career breakdown that caused him to leave in the first place. People stopped hiring him because his off-screen behavior was just too much of a liability. He was acting erratic and got in trouble with the law on a few different occasions. In 2014, he was charged with disorderly conduct during a cabaret performance, and then in 2017, he was arrested for public intoxication and obstruction. Video footage actually surfaced online showing him cursing at the police officer and using racial slurs. Plus, when he did show up to events, he wore a paper bag on his head that said, "I'm not famous anymore." He was on a career high after his Transformers movie success and his work with the musician Sia, so I am personally interested to see if he is going to be able to pull this comeback off. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments. Taking over number 2 is Catherine Zeta-Jones. She was wildly popular in the early 2000s, taking home the Best Supporting Actress Oscar for her role in Chicago. But over the past decade, her career dwindled away, and according to Catherine, it's because of her age. She spoke out on the issue during an interview and said, I quote, "It's not that there aren't great stories to be told about women in their 40s, it's just that the big bosses in Hollywood feel that the demographic of moviegoers are less interested." During the years of 2014 to 2016, she had 0 credits to her name. Since then, she did book a small role in the TV series called Feud and a role on the series Queen America, but neither of them have put her back in the spotlight like she once was. Some people people online have blamed it on the fact that she took that break from Hollywood. However, she was doing it to focus on her health and had some marriage problems. It just seemed to do more harm than good. It's almost like her career just never recovered from it, which is sad, and I actually wish that she wasn't on this list. Alright guys, we made it to number 1, and we have Morocco Omari. He was praised for his role on the TV show Empire, but lost it all when he was arrested in April 2017 after a 24-year-old woman told police officers that he had pushed her to the ground during an argument, leaving her with bad scratches on her neck and chest. He ended up going to a 2-day trial, and his character was immediately killed off the show. The actor denied the allegations and said that anyone who knows him knows that he would never raise his hand to a woman. He was charged with misdemeanor domestic battery, and his reputation, let alone his career, has just never been the same. We still don't know the whole story though, so it is hard to say if he truly destroyed his own career or if she did, like if she's making the whole thing up. That is a big debate online, so who really knows? Starting us off at number 10 is Patrick J. Adams. The Suits actor deleted his social media accounts, which is probably for the best because he faced the heat after he body shamed a woman online. The story goes that a woman body shamed him at the airport when he was returning home from the royal wedding, saying that he looked, I quote, chunky. He then shared an unflattering picture of her while she was sleeping in a chair next to him, and he did some casual body shaming, as he called it. People began calling him out and saying he was a bully, and he later removed the picture and also issued an apology. He wrote a long message and said, "Yesterday I posted a photo of a woman who did some casual body shaming of my wife and I in the airport. My intention was solely to put a face to the people who think that sort of glancing commentary is necessary, helpful, or funny." He also went on to explain that he is not a bully and that what the woman said was rude and out of line, but that he should have just left it at that. Which is probably true. Always just walk away. Coming in hot at number 9 is Scott Disick. He loves to show off his luxurious lifestyle, and he actually calls himself the Lord in real life, and it's actually his Instagram handle. But the Lord messed up big time with his social media when he accidentally copy and pasted part of an email from his PR for a product placement ad. He did a post for Booty Shake, and the caption said, "Here you go, at 4 p.m. EST, right the below." Caption, "Keeping up the summer workout routine with my morning Booty UK protein shake." The social media star pasted the actual instructions from the PR company, which showed his 15 million followers that he's being paid to post a fake caption and that he's not actually a user or a believer of the product. People were quick to call him out on it, and he deleted it immediately and then reposted it again with another clearly scripted caption. Probably lost some PR deals after that. He's the worst social media influencer I've ever seen. Rolling into number 8 is Vicky Gunvalson. Another time that a product placement ad went horribly wrong. This one might actually be worse. The reality TV star does a lot of product ads on her social media pages and gets a lot of big names on her resume because of her following. But she probably lost some of her contacts after posting an ad of her Beats headphones. She posted a picture of the box and captioned it, "Thank you, #BravoTV for my Christmas present. Love these for all my traveling. #Happy holidays, #Andy Cohen." But there is one thing she didn't notice about her post that her followers quickly did. You could actually see her reflection in the box packaging, and she was naked. For obvious reasons, she deleted the post. Probably not the kind of exposure that they were looking for when they sent her the product, but thanks anyways. Up next, number 7 is Kylie Jenner. This one still makes me scream and sad because I remember it happening and I remember it being so cringy. Forbes named her the youngest self-made billionaire after her beauty line, Kylie Cosmetics, took the world by storm. No pun intended for her kid, whose name's Stormy. Many people disagreed that her success was even self-made, given her Kardashian family exposure that she's had basically her entire life. But that is besides the point. The point is, she couldn't even demonstrate the use of her product properly. She decided to post a video demonstrating how she washes her face using her skincare products. In the video, she proceeds to cleanse her face and finishes by drying it with a white towel. She spoke about the fact that her products remove the makeup from your skin as well as cleansing it. But when she wiped her skin dry with a fresh white towel after cleansing, tons of makeup came off on the towel, which just proved to her fans that her products don't actually remove the makeup. And she didn't even notice. And at number 6 is Armie Hammer. The world was shocked when news broke that legendary Marvel superheroes creator Stan Lee had passed away. Tons of celebrities flooded their social media accounts with tributes to him, and apparently Armie had an issue with it. He tweeted out, "So touched by all the celebrities posting pictures of themselves with Stan Lee. No better way to commemorate an absolute legend than putting up a picture of yourself." Despite some people being understanding where he was coming from, many people slammed him for criticizing how others grieve a person's death and how they choose to show their respect. Following the backlash, he issued an apology saying, I quote, "I want to apologize from the bottom of my heart and will be working on my Twitter impulse control. Honestly, this is why I do not have a Twitter, because I can't control my impulse." Halfway through at number 5 is Bette Midler. She found herself in some trouble for showing disrespect to the First Lady, Melania Trump. In November 2018, the 72-year-old actress at the time posted a picture on her Twitter of Melania posing in a cockpit for a GQ photo shoot, and it included an insulting caption saying, "The dry cleaning bill for the upholstery on Air Force One must be insane." Twitter users surprisingly came to Melania's defense and slammed the actress for going out of her way to insult her. People called her comment catty and said that she made a fool of herself by bashing Melania during the time when she was a model. People were persistent on the fact that she owed the First Lady an apology and that the world needs less hate. However, Melania did not get that apology. Making our way to number 4, we have PewDiePie. He is the biggest YouTuber in the world, but had a setback in his career after posting a controversial meme that mocked Demi Lovato's apparent overdose. The meme has since been deleted, but showed Demi asking her mother for money to purchase a burger, but then spending the cash on heroin. Not really sure what the joke was in that meme, like there's really nothing funny about it, but TMZ at the time had reported that the cause of her alleged overdose was heroin. However, a source later told Fox News that it wasn't. Regardless, no one thought the meme was funny, and the YouTube star received a ton of backlash for it. He deleted it and also issued an apology saying, "Deleted meme. I didn't mean anything with it, and I didn't fully know about the situation. I realize now that it was insensitive. Sorry." What do you guys think? Do you think he should be forgiven? Or, I just didn't find anything funny with the meme in the first place. Next up in our 3rd spot is Lorde. You might be a little surprised to find her on this list, seeing as she has always lived quite a quiet life regardless of her success and fame, but she ruined that reputation when she made a disrespectful joke about Whitney Houston's death. She posted a picture on her Instagram of a bathtub being filled with running water and titled it, "And I Will Always Love You." Obviously, it was referring to the iconic lyrics from one of her songs, which I will not sing, but it was also a reference to her death because she died by drowning in a bathtub. After the backlash, Lorde deleted the post and issued an apology saying that she loves Whitney and meant no disrespect by it. Her original post as well as her apology have both been deleted from her Instagram page since then, which is probably a good idea. Taking over number 2 is CeeLo Green. The musician is known for his music and for being a judge on the singing competition show The Voice, but he's also known for saying things that get him in trouble. Things got real serious in October 2012 when he was accused of sexual battery after a woman claimed he had her while partying one night. Almost 2 years after the allegations, he received probation and community service after pleading no contest to a lesser charge of giving his victim ecstasy. But 2 days after the case was closed on August 31st in 2014, he went on Twitter to talk about it, and rather than an apology or a thanks for the support, he wrote, "If someone is passed out, they're not even with you consciously. So with implies consent. People who have really been remember." And that is basically what ended his entire career and reputation. TBS canceled his show called The Good Life, and he also lost his headlining gig at the Gretna Heritage Festival in New Orleans. In the number 1 spot is Evan Rachel Wood. Hearts were broken worldwide when the news broke that Kobe Bryant died tragically in a helicopter crash alongside one of his daughters. Many people use their social media accounts to pay tributes to the legend and his family, but Evan Rachel Wood caused a massive controversy instead. She posted a tweet saying, "I am heartbroken for Kobe's family. He was a sports hero. He was also a and all these truths can exist simultaneously." She was actually referring to the 2003 sexual assault case that was dropped and later settled outside of court. She received a ton of backlash, which is not surprising, and just 2 days later, her Twitter was actually locked and marked to private. But before that, she ended up deleting the tweet and posted another one saying, "What has happened is tragic." She was still receiving a ton of backlash because that's not really an apology, so I guess she thought that making her account private and limited would help the scandal just kind of blow over. Kicking off our countdown at number 10 is Millie Bobby Brown. Back in September 2019, the young actress launched her own vegan skincare line for teen girls called Florence by Mills. The line was named after her great-grandmother and features both makeup and skincare products. Being a new business owner, she thought it would be a good idea to post a video of herself using the products. The like a demonstration. She filmed herself doing a quick and easy nighttime skincare routine using a variety of her products: face mist, scrub, face wash, moisturizer, and lip oil. People started attacking her, claiming that she wasn't actually using the products on her face and that her eye makeup was left on. One user wrote, "It would be nice if you use it. We can see you're not actually applying any product, lol." The video was deleted, and it is safe to say that people no longer trust her products. You gotta use your products if you're gonna demonstrate them. Moving on to number 9 is Courtney Love. It's hard to forget the time when she claimed to have found the missing Malaysia plane. You can't make this stuff up, you guys. She actually thought she located the plane. Back in March 2014, the singer claimed on Twitter that she had found the Malaysia Airlines Flight 370, which disappeared on March 8th while it was on its trip to Beijing. The flight never made it to its destination and to this day has never been found or explained. But Courtney Love says that she found it. She tweeted out, "I'm no expert, but up close this does look like a plane and an oil slick. Prayers go out to the families, #MH370. Along with the tweet, she posted a diagram of where she believed the plane to be. Turns out that the objects she claimed were the plane were actually other boats in the region. Close enough though. So with our number 8 spot is James Gunn. The Guardians of the Galaxy 3 director was fired after a series of his offensive tweets resurfaced online. There was a large variety of tweets that came back which showed inappropriate comments regarding young boys and other inappropriate and just unnecessary comments. The majority of them are too inappropriate for me to read, so you're just gonna have to take my word for it and then Google it after. No one found his jokes funny, especially Disney, and they fired him from the movie franchise. Walt Disney Studios chairman Alan Horn said in a statement, "The offensive attitudes and statements discovered on James's Twitter feed are indefensible and inconsistent with our studio's values, and we have severed our business relationship with him." James did issue an apology and said that he had a heart full of regret. Taking over our number 7 spot is Debra Messing. The Will and Grace star was trying to bring some positivity to the world in an attempt to shed some light on gun violence. But the whole thing backfired on her and people started attacking her character. In June 2016, she tweeted a selfie while wearing her Under the Gun t-shirt as she watched news coverage of the UCLA murder-suicide that day. She tweeted, "Horrendous watching news about shooting at UCLA with casualties while taking selfie to bring awareness to gun violence." People started calling her narcissistic and claimed that she was just seeking attention by posting that and that it wasn't true. She deleted the tweet and posted an apology to her Facebook page saying that she was asked to post a picture that day wearing the t-shirt and that she was shocked by the irony of the shooting happening at the same time that she was taking the selfie. She said that she was heartbroken and embarrassed that people were offended by her post and said that she was truly sorry. I believe her. I really do. And at number 6 is Naomi Campbell. The supermodel made a big mistake with one of her brand deals when she accidentally copied and pasted the instructions for the sponsored ad as the caption. Back in June 2016, she had a deal with Adidas and posted a photo of her holding up a pair of shoes. But her caption was strange and fans caught on to what happened right away. Her caption said, "Naomi, so nice to see you in good spirits. Could you put something like, thanks to my friend at Gary Aspen and all at Adidas. Loving these Adidas 350 SPZL from the Adidas Specials range." This is probably the worst thing you can do when you get an ad deal because you're just exposing them for writing the caption for you rather than just speaking about how much you actually love the product. It honestly just shows her followers that she's being paid for it and the caption isn't even her own words. After everyone started calling her out for it, she edited the caption and fixed her mistake. Halfway through our list, number 5 is Kevin Hart. It was actually his wife, Aniko, who faced more heat after posting a picture of their son to her social media. Back in 2018, she posted pictures from their son's first birthday party, which had a Cowboys and Indians theme. She captioned the picture, "Zoe's Cowboy and Indians party was nothing but amazing." People were quick to slam the couple and thought the theme was completely inappropriate. The picture showed that his cake was covered in teepees and cowboy hats. One user wrote, "Cowboys and Indians? Can you not afford a publicist who would explain the reality of such a terrible idea?" People went on to say that many Native Americans often advocate for equality and their heritage should not be used as a party theme. Sliding into number 4 is Gal Gadot. Even Wonder Woman makes mistakes. The actress posted a tribute on her Twitter after Stephen Hawking passed away. She wanted to leave some heartfelt thoughts about his departure, so she tweeted, "Rest in peace, Dr. Hawking. Now you're free of any physical constraints. Your brilliance and wisdom will be cherished forever." It was probably meant in a very sweet and genuine way, but her words just didn't go over very well. People took her message as if she implied that living with physical constraints had burdened him and that his disabilities were some kind of tragedy. She took a lot of criticism for her tweet, but some people did come to her defense and said that people were just getting offended for no reason. What do you guys think? To me, it sounded genuine, and I don't think she was saying anything about his disabilities, but I do understand that the wording was a little iffy. In our third spot is Fernanda Flores. The 90 Day Fiancé star ruins not only her reputation, but also her husband's after posting a nude video of him to her Instagram. In 2018, she posted a nude video of her man, Jonathan Flores, on her Instagram stories, but later revealed that it was a total accident and that she felt bad for the mishap. After receiving a ton of backlash because no one wants to see a man naked and a lot of confusion, she posted, "I'm so sorry from the bottom of my heart that you had to see that. It was a huge mistake." Her husband also wanted to come to his defense and said that it was an accident. He said, "As for the video, that without question was a mistake. We are so sorry you had to see that." Some people didn't believe that it was actually a mistake and alleged that it was all for a publicity stunt. Regardless, no one wanted to see your man's junk. Rolling into spot number 2 is Dean McDermott and Tori Spelling. Husband of the Year award definitely didn't go to him back in 2011 when he accidentally posted a photo of his wife's breasts. Why people keep doing this, I don't know. I know you're probably wondering how you could do that by accident, but this one really does seem like a genuine mistake. He posted a picture on his Twitter of his son Liam in bed, and it looked innocent enough at first glance. But when you look again, you might notice that he is not in bed alone and that Tori is actually lying behind him with her bare breasts out. People were quick to notice, and Dean immediately removed the image, and neither of them commented on what happened, which is probably for the best. Just avoid the situation. Winning the number 1 place on our list, even if he doesn't want to, is James Franco. He was once one of the biggest actors in Hollywood and was showing up in pretty much every movie at one point. But that was until his inappropriate behaviors started to surface. In April 2014, screenshots of his Instagram messages were shared online showing a conversation he was having with a 17-year-old fan named Lucy Cord. In the messages, he asked her if he should rent a hotel room for them, and she denied his invite, suggesting that maybe they do it next year when she's 18. He even sent her a photo of himself with her name on it so that she actually knew that it was him. After a ton of backlash, he issued an apology and said that he made a mistake. Yeah. Starting us off at number 10 is Jay Station. The famous YouTuber caused one of the most recent scandals to hit the platform, and it all started when he announced online that his girlfriend had died tragically. He was dating Alexia Morano when he recorded a YouTube video of himself crying and mourning her death, saying that she was hit by a drunk driver. He even visited a memorial and acted out the entire thing. But the video was deleted a few days later, and a new one was posted explaining that she was alive and he did it to bring followers to their new channel that they were apparently creating together. Alexia posted a response video saying she had nothing to do with it and shared that they aren't together because of his abusive behavior. He was eventually arrested and charged with assault. So yeah, safe to say his career is pretty destroyed after that. Should probably never fake someone's death. Sniping our number 9 spot is Justin Bieber. In 2014, the singer posted a photo on his Instagram of him standing in front of a Japanese shrine and captioned it, "Thank you for your blessings." Sounds innocent, right? Wrong. Because the photo was taken at Yasukuni Shrine, which is actually a very controversial place because it honors Japanese who were responsible for the death of thousands of Chinese during World War II. It's the center of a huge political debate among a lot of other Asian countries. Justin quickly realized his mistake when he saw the backlash from his post and removed it immediately. He followed up with an explanation saying, "While in Japan, I asked my driver to pull over, for which I saw a beautiful shrine. I was misled to think the shrines were only a place of prayer. To anyone I've offended, I am extremely sorry. I love you, China, and I love you, Japan." Sounds like an innocent thing. I don't know. Next up at number 8, we have Floyd Mayweather. The legendary boxer doesn't shy away from saying what he wants in public, so it's not all that surprising that he does the same on his Twitter account. Back in 2012, one of his tweets about Taiwanese-American basketball player Jeremy Lin sparked a bit of controversy for its racial connotations. He tweeted out, "Jeremy Lin is a good player, but all the hype is because he's Asian. Black players do what he does every night and don't get the same praise." Some people may have agreed with him, while others were furious and began to call him a racist. Regardless though, he was unbothered by all the backlash and just continues to speak his mind online. Cruising into the number 7 spot is Dani Mathers. She's known for starring on TV series like Badass and The Bold and the Beautiful, but she's mainly known for her work as a Playboy model. But both sides to her career came to an end in 2016 after she posted an image on her Snapchat of a naked 70-year-old woman at a gym with the caption, "If I can't unsee this, then you can't either." The image immediately got backlash, and it actually resulted in her facing criminal charges. She was fired from a radio show and banned from LA fitness gyms all across the US. People were outraged that she would body shame someone like that, especially to an audience the size of hers. Later in 2017, she faced the court and pleaded no contest to a charge of invading the woman's privacy. She was fined $1,000 in order to spend a month of doing community service and removing graffiti all around Los Angeles. Coming in number 6 is Geraldo Rivera. Back in 2013, the TV star host wanted to make people laugh and decided to post a half-naked selfie on Twitter. In the picture, he's showing off his upper body and captioned it, "70 is the new 50. Erica and family are going to be so pissed, but at my age..." There was one thing he was right about, and that was people were pissed. His daughter was mortified and texted him the next day to take it down immediately. He could handle his embarrassed daughter, but his boss at Fox was even more pissed and his job was on the line because of it. Geraldo ended up taking the picture down the next day because Fox contacted him and told him that he had to delete it immediately. Like there were no options. I would literally be mortified if my father posted a topless photo. Halfway through at number 5 is Justine Sacco. This girl actually became famous from being the most hated person on the internet. There was a point when she was just a regular PR consultant with a couple hundred followers, but then she tweeted something that she thought was funny and it sparked a viral controversy. In 2013, before heading off on her trip to South Africa, she tweeted, "Going to Africa, hope I don't get AIDS. Just kidding, I'm white." A tech writer named Sam Biddle came across the tweet and retweeted it to the 15,000 followers that he had, and then it all just went downhill from there. Thousands of people were outraged, and the hashtag #HasJustineLandedYet started to trend worldwide. She ended up getting fired from her job, and she continued to say that it was just a joke. Not very funny, Justine. Not funny. Moving along, we're at number 4 with Amanda Bynes. Just by looking at her Twitter account, we could tell that she was struggling in her personal life. People adored her from the day she showed up on Nickelodeon, but it appeared that the famous lifestyle kind of caught up to her and her life became unstable. And the only way we knew this was because she announced everything on her Twitter account with personal details and full disclosure. She first announced her retirement from acting when she was just 24 years old, but then she announced that she had unretired herself. And from there, we saw a variety of tweets that ultimately caused her entire career and reputation to crumble. She insulted fellow celebrities, she claimed that she had a microchip inserted in her brain, she spoke about her private legal issues, and even accused her dad of being a sexual predator. Literally, this girl has had no filter. But still wishing her the best, because I really did love her. Taking over the 3rd spot is Ari Shaffir. The world was taken by storm recently when news broke that the NBA legend Kobe Bryant had died in a helicopter crash alongside his daughter and some friends. While the world was grieving and mourning the loss, comedian Ari Shaffir was sending out insensitive tweets and accused Kobe of being. He tweeted, "Kobe Bryant died 23 years too late today. He got away with because all the Hollywood liberals enjoy rooting for the Lakers more than they dislike. Big ups to the hero who forgot to gas up his chopper." He later posted that it was just a joke and that every time a beloved celebrity dies, he jokes about them like that and has been doing it for years. So apparently that makes it okay. His talent agency dropped him and the New York Comedy Club canceled all of his upcoming shows. And I think that is very much deserved. Winning the number 2 spot on our list is Ashton Kutcher. The actor doesn't usually cause too much drama online, but in 2011 he sparked a huge scandal after he defended someone who had dismissed sexual assault cases. What happened was, in 2011, Penn State's legendary coach Joe Paterno was fired after he neglected to address that allegedly took place in his locker room. It appeared that Ashton didn't have all the information before he tweeted out, "How do you fire Joe Pa? Hashtag insult, hashtag no class. As a Hawkeye fan, I find it in poor taste." Fans didn't take kindly to it and they were furious that he would defend someone in Joe's position. But after finding out the full story, Ashton deleted the tweet and apologized, saying, "I feel awful about this error. As an advocate in the fight against child sexual exploitation, I could not be more remorseful for all involved in the Penn State case." Guys, I really do think this was an honest mistake. You know, just one of those things where you just spoke a little too soon. And at number 1 is someone you might not expect, the High School Musical legend, Vanessa Hudgens. The actress recently did an Instagram live stream where she shared her thoughts on the current pandemic our world is facing right now with COVID-19.
Everybody gets it. Like, yeah, people are gonna die. It's just terrible, but like, inevitable?
In her video, she said, I quote, "Even if everybody gets it, like, yeah, people are gonna die, which is terrible, but inevitable." She continued to laugh off her comments and appeared to be incredibly insensitive to it, and people were furious. Her comments started to circulate all over the internet, and after seeing the damage that she had caused on her career and reputation, she issued an apology. She tweeted out, "I'm so sorry for the way I have offended anyone and everyone who has seen the clip from my Instagram live yesterday. I realize my words were insensitive and not at all appropriate for the situation our country and the world are in right now." People, however, are not so forgiving, and they've actually gone as far as making TikTok videos poking fun at the fact that she just ruined her own career. Beginning the countdown list at number 10 is LMFAO, still one of the coolest music group names ever, which is why it's such a shame that their career didn't last. Their song Party Rock Anthem took over the world back in 2011 because it basically forced everyone to get up and dance no matter how shy they were. It was such a hit song that it became one of only 20 songs to reach the Recording Industry Association of America Diamond status. They earned their second #1 hit later in 2012 when they released their song Sexy and I Know It. Another banger. The party boys who made the group, Red Foo and Sky Blue, are actually related. Red Foo is Sky Blue's uncle, which was actually part of their demise in the end. The party ended for them in 2016 when they split up after a nasty feud between them, which Sky Blue aired out all over Facebook. He accused his uncle of abandoning him after a back injury, which left him unable to perform during their huge stadium tour. He basically said that he continued performing as LMFAO without him. After the split, Red Foo released a solo album called Party Rock Mansion in 2016, but only sold 144 copies in its first week. Sky also produced 2 albums, but neither of them got the party started again, if you know what I'm saying. Next up at number 9 is Tila Tequila. She rose to fame when she was recognized early on as a social media celebrity, what people now call an influencer. She was the most popular person on MySpace during the time, and her career took off from there. But in the past decade, she's become one of the most unpopular people in Hollywood. Back in 2007, MTV thought it'd be smart to capitalize on her large online fan base, so they gave her her own dating show called A Shot at Love with Tila Tequila. I actually watched it, not gonna lie. From there, she started getting some minor roles in movies like a Hooters girl in I Now Pronounce You Chuck and Larry. However, all of this went to waste after she posted this bizarre writing on her website called Why I Sympathize with Hitler. In it, she wrote, I quote, "I learned the truth about the war and what Hitler truly did. He was not a bad person as they have made him out to be." On top of that, she posted pictures of herself posing in front of Auschwitz dressed as a seductive looking. But she really ruined all chances at a return in 2016 when she attacked the Jewish conservative political commentator Ben Shapiro, saying that he should be gassed and sent back to Israel. Her words, not mine. Cruising into number 8 is Stephen Collins. You'd probably know him better as the dad from the hit TV series Seventh Heaven. Not only was he a dad on the show, but he also played a moralistic pastor, which is why fans were stunned when he did one of the least moral acts that someone could do. Back in 2014, footage leaked to TMZ of Stephen talking during one of his personal therapy sessions. In the footage, he admits to his therapist that he had underage girls in his past. Turns out his wife at the time, Faye Grant, was secretly recording their therapy sessions from 2012. Once that was out, the NYPD and the Manhattan Special Victims Squad launched an investigation on him. He ended up doing a huge confession interview with People magazine where he admitted to molesting underage girls on 3 different occasions. According to him, the incidents occurred between the years 1973 to 1994, and he insisted that he hasn't had any urges ever since. For obvious reasons, he has not worked since the footage was leaked, and he was fired from TED 2 shortly after. And at number 7 is Amanda Bynes. She was once the it girl of Hollywood. She started her career at the young age of 10 and quickly rose to fame, making herself an A-list celebrity. But in 2010, she randomly announced her retirement on Twitter, and fans were both shocked and confused. By 2012, things in her life got pretty serious, and quickly too. She was first arrested for an alleged DUI in April, and after that she lost control of her finances and her mom was granted temporary conservatorship. CBC News covered the announcement, and the reasoning was determined for displaying increasingly erratic and bizarre behavior. Later in 2014, she was hospitalized under psychiatric hold. Fans were quick to judge, but Amanda has been open since then about her struggles with mental health and her addiction to drugs. During her interview with Paper in 2018, she said, "I don't know if it was a drug-induced psychosis or what, but it affected my brain in a different way than it affects other people." We were all hoping that she would make a comeback, but she relapsed in October 2019 and began living in a sober home. So yes, she did destroy her career with drug use, but mental health to me is not a joke, so this is not to discredit that. Coming in number 6 is CeeLo Green. His career took off as a musician, becoming a mainstream artist and also landing the role as a judge on The Voice. From there, he also started to dabble in some acting, appearing on SNL, Anger Management, Hotel Transylvania, and Parenthood. But one other thing he's known for is saying things that get him in trouble. He has no issue saying how he feels, and it's landed him in trouble on many occasions. But things took a serious turn in October 2012 when he was accused of sexual battery. A woman claimed he had her while partying one night. Almost 2 years after the allegations, he received probation and community service after pleading no contest to a lesser charge of giving his victim ecstasy. 2 days after the case was closed on August 31st in 2014, he went on Twitter to talk about it, and rather than an apology or a thanks for the support from fans, he wrote, "If someone is passed out, they're not even with you consciously, so with implies consent. People who have really been remember." And yeah, that's basically what ended his reputation. TBS cancelled the show called The Good Life, and he also lost his headlining gig at the Gretna Heritage Festival in New Orleans. He is still pursuing music career, but we would be lying if we said he does not have the career he used to or the respect. Cause dude, what the f? Happy to do list at number 5 is Paula Deen. It's easy to recognize her seeing as her face was all over the Food Network for years. She was once everyone's favorite cooking show, Southern Lady, and it led her to getting gigs on shows like Top Chef, Extreme Makeover Home Edition, and Master Chef. But all of that changed when a lawsuit was filed against her in 2012. Lisa Jackson, one of her former general managers of one of her restaurants, filed a lawsuit against a celebrity chef accusing her of racial discrimination. She claimed that Paula would use the N-word around workers and wanted to stage a Southern-themed wedding with black men playing slaves. In a testimony during the trial, the manager's lawyer asked her if she had ever used the N-word before, and she said yes, of course. As for the wedding thing, she claimed that she got the idea from another restaurant and called it beautiful and impressive. Once her statements were verified in district court, the Food Network quickly reacted and refused to renew her contract. She did post some apology videos, but it just wasn't enough to save her. Then in 2015, she tweeted a picture of her son in blackface, which is now deleted by the way, and people went pretty crazy about it. So either she just doesn't get it, or like she just doesn't care. Nightmare number 4 spot is Lindsay Lohan. Homegirl had a downward spiral, and to be quite honest, it kinda broke my heart. Being in the spotlight is nothing new for her since she's been working ever since she was just a kid. She first made a name for herself when she took on the lead role in the 1988 remake of The Parent Trap. And from there she became a teen sensation and had a wildly successful career as more time went on. But then her movie streak came to an end when she was arrested in 2007 for a DUI when she got into a car accident and had to go to the hospital. But she was also hit with charges of possession of cocaine and a misdemeanor hit and run following the accident. And yes, Your girl went to jail. She was sentenced to 120 days in county jail and 480 hours of community service. Ever since then, her career has not been the same. She moved to Dubai to escape the paparazzi because it's illegal there, and she opened her own beach club in Mykonos. MTV actually did a show with her called Lindsay Lohan's Beach Club, where she went through the process of finding employees, but the show didn't get a second season and it had a lot of mixed reviews. More negative than positive. Although I watched it, and I liked it, because I like her. But yeah, homegirl's a little bit of a mess. Taking over our number 2 spot is Farrah Abraham. Her time on Teen Mom OG set her up with a lifetime of fame for her and her daughter Sophia ever since she made her debut on MTV's show 16 and Pregnant. But then she decided she wanted to be an adult film star and entertainer, if you know what I mean. And she was kicked off the show. But she didn't go gracefully. She dropped a $5 million lawsuit on MTV and its parent company called Viacom. She claimed that she was, I quote, sex shamed for my porn career. The lawsuit ended up getting settled in 2018, but then her finances seemed to be in rough shape. Not only was she starring in sex films, but she also started a line of her own toys. Not children toys, sex toys. But apparently it wasn't enough income to balance her lifestyle because TMZ released an article in 2019 saying that she broke a couple of her leases and owes more than $100,000 in rent. She was also hit with a $12,000 lawsuit for backing out of the celebrity boxing match that she spent months promoting and preparing for. Apparently, the reasoning was she wasn't happy that they wouldn't provide free accommodations for her family. At one point in 2019, she was living in her parents' home, which we saw briefly in an episode when she was still on the show. Finally, in the number 1 spot is Paul Reubens, aka Pee Wee Herman. The actor was huge for his character during the 80s, which ended up becoming a household name. His career was a huge success. He took on 2 feature films and also an Emmy-winning children's TV series. But his reputation and his career changed drastically in 1991. During a visit with his parents in Florida, he was arrested for indecent exposure at an adult movie theater because he was spotted during a movie. He was 38 years old at the time and pleaded no contest and agreed to take part in a new anti-drug campaign to avoid a trial on the misdemeanor charge. After the whole scandal, Pee Wee toys were pulled from the shelves across the nations and he hid from the public eye, pretty much disappearing for the remainder of the 90s. He did attempt a comeback, but more charges of sexual nature were brought against him, but this time around it was related to child pornography. Police officers seized thousands of items from a collection of vintage gay erotica, and he also faced claims of owning sexual images of children. The worst part about this whole thing is that he was the face of a children's franchise, so I feel like that makes it like even more disturbing.
Number 10. Charlie Sheen. Oh boy, where do you even start with this one? Charlie Sheen had always been pretty troubled between multiple stints in rehab, abusive relationships, and general wild behavior. Charlie Sheen's fatal blow to his reputation would come in 2011 when an interview with him on ABC went viral after a series of bizarre radio interviews. This led to Sheen being dismissed from his popular show 2.5 Men and a lot of drama with Chuck Lorre. Thankfully, recent news seems to indicate that Charlie Sheen is sober and had been so for 18 months as of April 2019. Hopefully that's true, and that it remains true going forward. Number 9. Michael Richards. Known to many, many more as Kramer from the hit TV show Seinfeld, Michael Richards was a beloved 90s comedic actor. However, during a stand-up performance in 2006, after being heckled by some members of the audience, he began shouting racial slurs in a video clip that has since gone viral. This clip immediately destroyed his career, and since then, Richards has only made a handful of appearances in other works, usually alongside Jerry Seinfeld. Richards has been apologetic about the incident and claims he's not a racist. Whether that's the case or not, he's a lesson to all comedians. If you're being heckled, don't lash out. It's better to kill the mood for one night and have security escort them out than to lose your entire career over a moment of anger. And above all else, don't be racist. Number 8. Paula Deen. Oof, this one's a loaded one. So, Paula Deen was a celebrity chef with multiple shows on the Food Network. She more or less was known for being your stereotypical Southern belle and made Southern-style food as well. But on June 21st, 2013, the Food Network announced they would not be renewing her contract after a controversy about her admission regarding her use of the N-word. To add insult to injury, a photo of Deen and her son was posted of them in costumes resembling the characters from I Love Lucy, Lucy and Ricky, with her son being painted in brownface due to Ricky's Cuban descent. Yikes. That's one way to quickly destroy your career. Number 7. Lindsay Lohan. Lindsay's had quite a roller coaster ride. After her childhood success with the remake of The Parent Trap and the fame she gained from starring in the cult classic Mean Girls, she tragically would begin to take a turn for the worse. She was arrested in 2007 for a DUI, possession of cocaine, and a misdemeanor hit and run, along with multiple visits to rehab, jail time, and house arrest. All of this, combined with her unreliability when it came to casting her for films, led to her career petering out before stopping completely. Most recently, Lindsay has been developing a series of nightclubs in Greece, and in 2019 she did star in the film Among the Shadows, so perhaps we might be seeing Lindsay getting herself put back together. I certainly hope so anyway. Number 6. Mel Gibson. This was probably the first big one that I was old enough to understand. So, Mel Gibson was an actor famous for his roles in the Lethal Weapon and Mad Max series of films. He was also a well-known director with one of the most controversial films he made, The Passion of the Christ, a film depicting the death of Jesus Christ. While there had been controversy over concerns of anti-Semitism in the film, the real death blow to his reputation would come in July 2010, in which a recording of Gibson during a phone call with Oksana Grigorieva, apologies how I said that, I don't know how you say that, where he stated some very racist, inappropriate things I don't want to repeat here. This recording went public and any goodwill Gibson had left was gone. He's recently made a career comeback with movies like Hacksaw Ridge, which won 2 Academy Awards, so I guess some reputations aren't ruined forever? Hopefully whatever fueled his rage phone call has been worked out in therapy. Not cool, man. Not cool. Number 5. Pee Wee Herman. This one's nasty. So, Pee Wee Herman was a character played by Paul Reubens in the children's program Pee Wee's Playhouse on CBS. This show was immensely popular. However, in 1991, Reubens was arrested in an adult theater in Florida for publicly. Yikes. That said, the show's end and Reubens' arrest were not related, contrary to what many at the time thought. As it turned out, between the staff feeling overworked and Reubens feeling the character had run its course, it was time to retire it. Chalk it up to coincidental timing. That said, Pee Wee Herman has reappeared a handful of times since then, even getting a new film on Netflix. It seems public opinion shifted back in his favor. So, regardless of how you feel about his initial arrest, his reputation seems to have bounced back. 4. Anthony Weiner. Finally, a political figure. We could probably do an entire list of those alone. I'm just gonna keep it to 1 for this one. So, Anthony Weiner was a Democratic congressman who represented New York's 9th Congressional District from January 1999 until June 2011. But Weiner resigned from Congress in June 2011 after it was released that he had sent a sexually suggestive photo to a woman via Twitter. These sexting incidents would happen several more times, but the biggest by far would be when he sent an inappropriate photo to a minor, and as a result was forced to register as a sex offender for the remainder of his life. Yeah, not how you want your political career to go out. Like, at all. Especially with that low-hanging fruit of a last name. Number 3. Shia LeBoeuf. Shia is an interesting one. Many celebrities have one breaking incident that really tears down their reputation, but with Shia, it was a series of increasingly erratic and eccentric behaviors that led to him ultimately destroying his own reputation. On December 17th, 2013, LeBoeuf released HowardCantor.com, his own short film to the internet. However, several online bloggers noticed that it was very similar to Justin M. Damiano, a 2007 comic by Dan Clowes. Since then, LeBoeuf's other work, like his graphic novels Let's F***ing Party and Stale and Mate, have been discovered to have been plagiarized from Benoit Deterre's The Little Girl and the Cigarette and Charles Bukowski's Assault. In 2014, Shia began a series of weird performance art activities, most notably one in which he occupied a Los Angeles gallery for 6 days, wearing a paper bag on his head that said, "I am not famous anymore," and silently crying in front of visitors. Then, on July 8th, 2017, at around 4 a.m., LeBoeuf was arrested in downtown Savannah, Georgia for public drunkenness, disorderly conduct, and obstruction. He was sentenced to probation for 1 year and was further ordered to get therapy to manage his anger and substance use issues. Yeah, a far cry from the Louis Stevens we all knew and loved. Hopefully Shia can take better care of his mental health going forward. Number 2. Chris Brown. Yeah, I think we all know about this one. In February 2009, Chris Brown got into an argument with his then girlfriend Rihanna, which escalated and resulted in Chris assaulting Rihanna with facial injuries that required her to be hospitalized. The photograph of Rihanna battered and abused went public, and as a result, public opinion turned against Chris Brown. Chris felt his career was over at the time, but despite that, released several albums over the course of the years. Rihanna and Chris did get back together for a time, but ultimately, things didn't work out. In the 2017 self-documentary, Welcome to My Life, Brown discussed his relationship with Rihanna, claiming that he had planned to marry her. But a sexual encounter with someone who worked with him prior to their relationship had destroyed her trust in him. Whatever the case may be, Chris never was able to stop being associated with his violent actions. Number 1. Michael Jackson. I I don't think there's anyone who doesn't know about this one. I mean, for nearly 20 years, every comedian you heard made at least one Michael Jackson joke. And that Finding Neverland documentary last year pretty much made it relevant again 10 years after the man died. But to sum up, in 1993, Michael Jackson was accused of sexual abuse of a child. While the matter was settled out of court, many suspected he did do it. And to make matters worse, a second child accused Jackson of this behavior, although he was ultimately acquitted. And as though this wasn't enough, Jackson made remarks in an interview about how he didn't see anything wrong with having sleepovers with minors and sharing his bed and bedroom with various people. He insisted that the sleepovers were not sexual and that his words had been misunderstood. Regardless, Jackson's public image as a result of these events was completely tarnished, although many people still vocally supported Jackson despite it. A common sentiment at the time being about how the music was too good to care. However you feel, what can be said was that Jackson was a deeply troubled man, and his upbringing as a celebrity was likely a contributing factor.
Sliding to number 9 is Trisha Paytas. She did quite the damage on her career in 2019. She was front and center of a lot of scandals and obnoxious public feuds. One of the biggest controversies is when she posted videos saying that she was transgender. Being transgender wasn't the issue, it was how she spoke about it, saying that she identifies with men better and identifies herself as a gay man because she likes guys. But then, more recently, she posted videos of her making out with Jaclyn Hill's ex-husband, and seeing as he isn't gay and she identifies as a man, people were confused and more pissed off. Not to mention, she's publicly posting these videos that are so unnecessary, clearly to stir the pot against her fellow YouTuber Jaclyn Hill. Moving on to the number 8 spot is Gabriel Zamora. Back in 2018, his career took a drastic turn after he called out YouTuber Jeffree Star for being a racist. He did it in a very petty way, posting pictures online and calling out Jeffree's fans, questioning their values if they praise someone who's racist. They were once really good friends, and he revealed that Jeffree would say racist things about black people, but then try and validate it by saying he slept with black men, so he can't be racist. But then the internet went on a huge frenzy and found old tweets that Gabriel posted that used racist terms and derogatory language. So his plan didn't really work, and he ended up having to issue an apology. People say the only reason he still has any kind of career left is because Jeffree ended up forgiving him and has used him in his newer Jeffree Star Cosmetics campaign. Up next, number 7 is Sonia Say. The vegan YouTuber is famous for her vegan lifestyle and also for owning a fennec fox named Jumanji. But the Spanish content creator sparked a big debate when she shared a picture of her fox looking extremely thin and malnourished. Turns out she had him on a vegan diet as well, and those types of foxes normally eat a carnivore diet. One user started an online petition titled Save the Fox, and also encouraged her subscribers to report her to PETA. Sonia went on to say that he had a skin allergy due to plant pollen and only looked smaller because he was losing hair. Her fans were furious, even some of her fellow vegans, and she lost 8,000 subscribers just off the one picture. People don't support her decision, but she still stands by her choice, which people feel is a form of animal cruelty. And at number 6 is Michelle Dai. I don't agree with this one. The beauty YouTuber from the Philippines stood up for herself, but it ended up backfiring on her. Long story short, she put out some new beauty products and Jeffree Star publicly dissed them, calling them trash. So she stuck up for herself and tweeted back. But people were quick to remind the Twitterverse that she once had a copyright issue with Jeffree after copying his Jeffree Star approved video series. He actually has a trademark, y'all. Trademarked the hell out of it. You legally can't mess with him, and we all know he can afford a good lawyer, so don't even try. Unfortunately, she took a hit for sticking up for herself, and also 95% of the beauty community listens to his reviews. So when he calls your stuff trash, it actually affects your sales. Halfway through our list, number 5 is Belle Delphine. The Instagram model slash YouTube star had her account shut down in July 2019 after she apparently violated their rules. But that was just one of the many scandals she got into last year. She started selling her bathwater for $30 and even put up a jar of her urine for sale online for a whopping 10 grand. Ew. But she also created a account and tricked everyone into thinking she would be posting a video, but then posted a video of her eating a picture of PewDiePie. If that wasn't enough, in August she was arrested for spray painting someone's car. Apparently they stole her hamster. Needless to say, her career is a hot freaking mess. I honestly can't even keep up with her. Coming in hot number 4 is Manny. So his career-ending scandal has to do with the one I talked about involving Gabriel Zamora. Turns out when all that racist tweet drama went down, Gabriel posted his apology video, which basically put the blame on Manny, calling him a fair weather friend. The entire scandal revealed that he was losing around 4,000 subscribers per day. He ended up hitting his lowest number of 250,000, which is a huge downgrade compared to the 5 million that he had. In September 2019, he admitted that he had been losing subscribers for 1 year straight following all that drama. He posted a video online called "I was cancelled last year, let's finally talk about it." His plea had mixed reviews as he expressed concerns about the YouTube culture and damaging effects it can have on creators. People said he just deflected all the blame, but his subscribers have slowly gone up to 4 million, so he is working on things. In the third spot is Jaclyn Hill. She spent a lot of time promoting her new lipsticks in 2019. Her fans were expecting a high-end product, but instead they got something hazardous. Fans began posting pictures online of their brand new lipsticks with what looks like hair and mold in them. Not only were fans pissed about that, but they weren't thrilled with how she handled it either. Her first reaction was pretty snarky, and people started calling her unprofessional and rude. She blamed the whole thing on the white gloves her factory used when packaging them, and said they are not a hazard to anyone. Apparently her customer service in fixing the whole problem was extremely slow as well. In November 2019, she announced a new holiday makeup collection, but people were pretty skeptical, as some people haven't even been refunded from the lipstick debacle. Taking over the number 2 spot is Miss Ya. The Chinese YouTuber is known for her DIY projects at home, and one of them cost a young girl her life. Now, I personally do not believe that this was her fault, but unfortunately it did damage her career significantly. She posted a video of how to make popcorn in a tin can. 2 girls aged 14 and 12 were allegedly following the video when the can exploded and burned the girls severely, to a point where one of them lost their lives. People started blaming the YouTuber for being the cause of death, but she pointed out that they didn't use the proper objects or follow the instructions properly. Regardless though, she was incredibly apologetic and even paid for the second girl's medical bills, who was severely burned. We've made it to number 1, you guys, and we have Cole Kerrigan. His career has suffered on a few different occasions, but it took the biggest hit when he posted a video in 2019 accusing Austin McBroom of rape. If you don't know who that is, he is the famous husband and father of the Ace family. In Cole's video, he claims that his friend Leslie Hannah Bell called him and told him that Austin had raped her. He showed different screenshots, videos, recorded phone conversations. He pretty much brought every receipt that he could. But later on, she publicly stated that Austin did not rape her that night and showed screenshots of texts where Cole said he wanted to make the video in order to get money. People were outraged for a few different reasons, and rightfully so. It is not a topic to take lightly.